Have you ever imagined how exciting it would be to meet your birth mother for the first time in years? Today we tell you an incredible story of an adopted little girl who meets her biological mother. What happens is shocking and touching. Stay with us until the end because this story will not only move you deeply, but will also make you reflect on what it really means to be a family. But before we start this exciting story, subscribe to our channel and activate the bell so you don't miss any of our future inspirational videos. Giulia was a girl like many others, but with a story behind her that few knew. Adopted by a loving couple of two dads, she had always known she was special, but that didn't save her from hardship. He remembered well the day his school life changed. That day when it all started with an innocent but painful question, "Where is your mother?" A comment that could have been just curiosity quickly turned into bullying. "Ah, you have two dads. So your mother didn't want you," said a classmate, laughing evilly. Every day was a struggle. Giulia felt more and more isolated, despite the unconditional love of her fathers. It was difficult to understand why her biological mother had abandoned her. Wasn't that enough for her? Didn't she love me? These questions rang in his head as he tried to steel himself. But her dads, with patience and love, were preparing a surprise for her that would change everything. One day, after another difficult day at school, one of her dads said to her, "Giulia, we have something important to show you. The time has come for you to know the whole truth." That evening, sitting on the sofa, her dad showed her a video. Giulia watched with her heart in her mouth. A young woman appeared on the screen, visibly excited. She was his biological mother. "Giulia, you are so beautiful," the woman in the video began. "I want you to know that I have always loved you. Deciding to give you up for adoption was the hardest thing I have ever done, but I did it because I wanted to give you the best life possible." The biological mother spoke of how her pregnancy was unplanned and how she was estranged from everyone, even her family. The young mother spoke of the difficulties she faced, the tears she shed and the pain she felt. But in the end, she chose to give Giulia up for adoption because she wanted her to have a life full of love and opportunities, things that she couldn't offer her at that moment. While Giulia watched the video, tears ran down her face. He finally understood. She had not been abandoned because she was not loved, but precisely because she was loved immensely. Her dads, seeing her so moved, hugged her tightly. "We chose you, Giulia, and you chose us. We are a family, and nothing can ever change that." Giulia remembered nights spent crying, wondering if she was the problem. Now everything seemed to make sense. Her biological mother hadn't left her because she didn't want her, but because she loved her so much that she wanted a better life for her than she could offer. True love sometimes means letting go, one of her dads told her, his eyes teary. But the surprise didn't end there. "There's someone who wants to meet you," one of his dads said. Giulia turned and saw a woman standing on the threshold of the door. It was her biological mother, coming to finally meet her. Before continuing, like this video and subscribe to our channel. You'll help us share more exciting and inspiring stories like this. The meeting was emotional. The two women hugged and cried together. "You are even more beautiful than I imagined," the birth mother said, through tears. "There wasn't a day I didn't think about you." The biological mother, Laura, began to tell Giulia the details of her story. "When I found out I was pregnant, I was very young and scared," Laura said. "My parents didn't accept my pregnancy and my boyfriend, your biological father, left me as soon as he heard the news. I had no support." Laura continued to explain how she had been kicked out of her home and forced to live in a shelter for pregnant women. "I didn't know what to do," Laura said. "But I knew I couldn't give you the life you deserved. That's when I met a wonderful couple who desperately wanted to have a child to love and raise. I decided that they would be your parents." Giulia listened attentively, her heart full of conflicting emotions. It was hard to imagine everything Laura had gone through, but she felt a deep sense of gratitude for her biological mother, who had made such a great sacrifice for her sake. The evening continued with stories and games. Giulia, her dads and Laura played Candyland, laughing and enjoying the time together. Giulia finally felt complete, knowing that she was loved by all of them. "I didn't know how much I missed this piece of my story," Giulia said, looking Laura in the eyes. "Thank you for coming. Thank you for giving me this life." Laura smiled, tears in her eyes. "Thank you, Giulia, for giving me a second chance. Not a day goes by when I don't think about you and how special you are." Giulia realized that it didn't matter what her family was made up of, the important thing was the love that bound them. She felt lucky to have two wonderful dads and now a biological mother who loved her and had made such a huge sacrifice for her. The following days were full of new experiences. Laura began to regularly see Giulia and her family, building an increasingly stronger bond. Giulia's fathers welcomed Laura with open arms, happy to see their daughter so calm and happy. Giulia's life changed radically. Now he not only had a loving family, but also a biological mother he could know and love. The days he spent with Laura were full of stories, laughter, and moments of complicity. Laura took her around the places of her childhood, sharing anecdotes and stories from the past. One day, while they were walking together, Laura said to Giulia, "You know, I never really left you. You have always been in my heart. Every decision I made with you in mind." Giulia stopped and looked at Laura, her eyes full of gratitude. "I know, Mom. I know now." The holidays became an opportunity to bring the whole family together. At Christmas, Giulia had the best gift of all, her united family. Seeing her dad and Laura together, laughing and joking like old friends, filled her heart with joy. One day, Giulia decided to do something special for all of them. She organized a surprise dinner and prepared a small slideshow with photos and videos of her life, thanking each of them for the love and support they had given her. When the presentation ended, there wasn't a dry eye in the room. "Thank you all," Giulia said, her voice trembling with emotion. "You have given me more than I could ever imagine. You have given me a family." Laura came over and hugged her tightly. "And you have given us so much love, Giulia. You are our greatest joy." Giulia's story is a powerful example of how love can overcome any obstacle and how families can be united by love, regardless of circumstances. Her experience deeply touched the hearts of all who knew her, showing that true family is not defined by biology, but by love and mutual support. If this story has touched your heart, we invite you to continue watching this video, which delves into other stories of adoption and family reunions. Thanks for following us and see you next time.